Now I dream the sight of you in the field working. A king cannot love a maid whose life is spent in toil. I guess the gods could say who made your painted tales unsoiled. You're my lady of the land, and my life is in your hands. Your eyes are green and gold have bewitched my very soul. I come to your home, surrounded by the cloak of night. I knock upon your door, you guide me in by candlelight. Run away, run away, run away. Run away with me, my lady. Come away and someday maybe we'll find a place you'll see where a king and a maid can be free. You're my lady of the land, and my life is in your hands. Your eyes are green and gold have bewitched my very soul.
I was still muted. Dear
There we
Stout
go.
Man, are you here? I was
Yes.
saying hi to my. I have a kitty. Look at how cute the kitty is. Normally I'd start with Stout Man, but look at the cute kitty. That was my whole spiel. And now I'm petting the kitty real quick. But Stout Man's here watching me pet a cat.
Mm-hmm. A cute kitty.
Yeah, she's the cutest. I love her. She got hair. I held her for all of 10 seconds, and now my shirt's all hairy. All right,
Perfect.
Let me get your beautiful face up. There we go. There's your beautiful mug. Hell yeah. All right. Hi, chat. We watched movies. We enjoyed many movies. I enjoyed a lot of movies. I don't know why I have the saw still open. All right. So previously we would just like rapid fire review some movies, and sometimes it'd be like, here's 30 seconds. Did we like your favorite movie? I hope so. And then like we'd move on. And I don't know. I just feel like I'd like to get a little more in depth with like each movie. Maybe not a huge amount, but like we're gonna skip some movies, some of our lesser movies that maybe neither of us remember anything about because we're old. We're old people. Bad memories and neurodivergent on top of that.
They just didn't touch us. You know, they
Yep.
didn't.
I
They
hope
didn't
it
do
didn't touch
anything.
me.
Oh yeah.
All right. So yeah, we watched a lot of interesting movies. I've been on a found footage kick, so we watched a lot of found footage films, like a lot of them. Like half the movies we watched the last 2.5 weeks have been found footage films.
Watched a lot of horror movies too.
Yes, I've only watched 2 non-horror movies this month. I was Hotel for Dogs, and what was the other one? Subway. We watched that one together.
For some reason, I thought the Weird Al movie was coming out this month, but it's actually coming out next month on November 4th.
We can watch it next month and then talk about it.
I thought it was coming out October 4th, and I was like, "Yay!" And no, it's
So let's
November.
let's go right into it. Like, tell me your thoughts about X.
I can't wait to see the sequels. It's a very good movie. That's like, it's a take on a modern take on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of stuff, kind of film, and a loving homage, I would say, from Ty West. I at this point, whenever I see a Ty West movie, I expect something that's either just going to be okay or it's going to be excellent. Like I really liked that Western he
Like,
did,
the only
but
movie I've had a problem with was The Innkeepers, and it was just the ending. That was it. That's it. Just the last
I
like 2
mean,
minutes of movie.
objectively, it is a little bland. But some of us like that bland
I
stuff.
I thought it was like,
The
for the most part I thought it was good though. Like I actually, I would say 99% of the movie I had no problem with. I just didn't like the ending. I
Yeah,
didn't, and even then I didn't think it was a bad ending. It's just an ending I just greatly disagreed with. That's all. But hey, what
but
can you do? I might like it more now. It's been over 10 years since we saw that, so
what I loved about X is that like it
been that many years.
definitely it flips the script in a lot
Hmm.
of ways. Like
Absolutely.
you at first I was not expecting like there are certain elements of what you're expecting, and then uh all these other things come into play, and you're like, wait a minute, is this what's going on? Because like I was pretty much convinced by the end that it was literally the people you thought were the good people, or rather, that they weren't, that they're just like an old couple. They were actually like they kind of flipped it around where like, oh, that's they aren't what you were expecting. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
I genuinely had the feeling that, wait a minute, they've done this before. It's
Yeah.
not
And we're getting the
just
prequel. I
out
can't
of
wait for it.
nowhere.
Pearl's the
Yeah.
prequel with her as the. It's still Mia Goth playing the same character, same like both characters, which I did not get right out the bat. I didn't actually. It wasn't until I looked at the cast list at the end. I was like, oh my god, that's the same girl. That's cool. The same
I
lady.
love how
Same.
they had the alligator over the mantelpiece, so to speak.
Oh, that was like, the alligator is definitely a direct reference to Eaten Alive. Like, very specifically, there were loving homages to Toby Hooper, and then unspecifically, there was also some
Lots of shots from Texas
Texas
Chainsaw
Chainsaw.
Massacre. Yeah.
Yeah, the '74 movie, and there's some tourist trap here, and a few other '70s films I can't remember off the top of my head. And yeah, it's a loving homage to the early like that early that era of like '70s horror. Fuck, I'm trying to think. What was the other movie? Like, it's basically look, this movie feels like a modern regional horror film, and in a way, regional horror films are really common because people just make movies now, wherever they are.
And of
So,
course, it is a movie that is itself kind of about making movies, albeit porn movies, but
well, but in a way, but it's
it's
also in a
still
way talking about just
filmmaking.
filmmaking in general is exploitative.
Yeah.
And yeah, these characters are not necessarily the best people, but like, yeah, oh god, everything about
But
this
I feel
movie
like
drips, and like it's either wet or it just feels gross. And those are the only. That's the only. Those are there's like two modes for 90% of this movie. Ew, it's moist, and oh, I just feel gross from this.
but it's still extremely satisfying.
Oh
The
yeah, not in a
story
bad
is
way, the good
extremely
kind, the good way. It's very
yeah.
satisfying. That ending is well earned, well
Mhm.
earned. I don't remember what I gave
Well
this
worth
movie. I
the
have to look.
watch.
Ah, ah, ah.
I gave it 8 out of 10, or well, two thumbs up. Two thumbs
I
up.
also gave it an 8 out of 10. I also favorited it because it's definitely a movie I'm gonna revisit soon because I really liked it a lot. And Pearl's coming out sooner than we think, and then I'll probably want to watch X and Pearl back to back. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
cause, or maybe Pearl and then X back to back because Pearl's a prequel.
Ah,
Oh yeah, right.
it definitely struck me. It is definitely one of those movies, X, where I feel like reviewing it, there's value in the reviewing of it
Hmm.
because the second time around you're going to be catching on to a few things here and they're like, oh, they were trying to tell us here, you know?
Yeah, exactly. There's always things like that in movies. That's why I love movies. When movies are good, they're really good. I was gonna say what's interesting is it's almost as if like regional horror films or big studio blockbusters are the only things that get made now. The regional horror films won. The regional films won because like it's like you're either being made by Hollywood or some weird backwoods person who's just bored and wants to make a movie because they think they can make a movie, and they
I
did
love
make a
how
movie.
when I go on Twitter now, I see people like maybe not all the way high up in the industry, but people who are like at least adjacent to the industry. And they're talking about how like, wow, this horror movie made a lot of money. It was only made on a budget of like $5 million and it made like $100 million. That's a huge profit.
Yeah.
Why don't they make more horror movies? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I've been saying, and that's
Oh,
basically how the horror movie industry has existed for like
oh, I got one for you.
40 years. Like
Hold on, I literally Jenny Nicholson. Are
it's
you
like
familiar
I'm
with her?
glad you're finally catching on to it. Thank you.
Well, I'm not
Uh
gonna call. I'm like Jenny Nicholson made a post. She's a YouTube personality person.
I don't know who she is.
She makes YouTube
I
videos,
That
and then
wasn't who I was referring to. So
I don't know necessarily she's like I don't know where the fuck she thinks she's at in the world of horror. I'm trying to find this tweet. She said something like fuck, where is it?
but that's what I would do
Sorry, cover
if I
photo.
had money to make horror movies. I would
Oh, here we go.
if I had the money to make movies, I would. If I was like had $100 million, I'd make 20 horror movies for 5 million
This
each.
is look.
Like
Listen, here's
easy.
I miss found footage horror. Frowny face. I think we could have let them get crazier with it before it died.
It didn't die. It's still here. They're still making.
Somebody get. We're all going to the World Fair into this woman's hands. She needs to see. She needs to be proven wrong. Dead streams. Someone show her dead streams. Somebody, for love of fuck.
Found
Don't
footage isn't dead.
dogpile
It's
her.
just
I'm
they don't
saying
make
like
that many.
I don't get
Yeah,
it. How can you be so oblivious? Like what?
I
Maybe
mean,
she's being sarcastic and I'm being autistic. That's totally an acceptable
well,
choice, to be fair.
from that perspective, though, I mean, I have to imagine that her
I'm an autistic
perspective
person.
here is that during the period of the glut of found footage, that was the heyday of found footage horror movies, and that like she doesn't understand it to have been a glut like we do, right?
Yeah. Also, found
Maybe
footage has been
she
around
thinks
since like the
that's just
'70s,
that's
like
she thinks the
1961.
glut is like what the what it was during its heyday, during its popular period, right? And that's the way that it would always be if it's still a popular genre, but that's not the way things work.
Yeah.
It's just it got really popular for a short time. It's still popular. It's just
Very
not
popular.
as popular as it was in the from the mid aughts to the like
Early aughts.
2014 or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's just the case of like fads and like shifting tastes and found footage never went away.
Yeah.
Found footage has
It
been here
did.
since 1961, maybe even earlier. There might be someone who can prove to me that it's even earlier, and that'd be great. I would love to find a movie that happened before 1961's The Connection that is found footage. Because that movie, if people don't know, we covered it on on this show before, but that movie is an early found footage film by Shirley Clark, and the premise is that Shirley Clark found this unfinished film that this guy was making about this jazz band full of drug addicts and about their life, and then it was aborted, and she would release it as a curio, right? It's actually an adaptation of a stage play, and that's just a really inventive way of presenting a stage play, as basically it's like two whole camera angles the entire time. But it's a really great found footage film. It's really high quality acting and writing, but it's also like I think it might be the earliest point of this camera crew did this thing and then we found the footage, which is the premise of found footage.
Mhm.
You know, I gotta blow my nose.
So yeah, it's a little much to say that found footage died when it definitely didn't. It's still a popular style of filmmaking is what I would put it. Because I think it is technically like a movement or a subgenre, but
It's a subgenre. It also is a movement that has come back several times. Like
Mhm.
ska, there's like third wave ska. We're on the third wave found
Yeah,
footage films right now. First wave was because there's a trickle in of the proto era when the like found footage was a thing but wasn't a genre yet. Dave Holson's Diary, uh, fucking Punishment Park, yada
before it
yada
got
yada, right?
attached to another genre,
Right,
basically.
and then
Yeah.
Cannibal Holocaust, and then nothing
That was
really
the
happened
movement.
in the
The
mid
movement
'80s.
is when it's like that's the thing, but that's the difference between a movement and a genre or subgenre, in my
Right.
opinion, is that a movement is something that happens irrespective of genre.
So
So, like
yeah.
in this case, the first found footage movies weren't really tied to any specific genre. Nowadays, we think of found footage and we think of horror movies because it's been tied to the
It's
genre.
very closely tied to that. Yes.
Yeah. So,
To be fair, some of the earliest found footage films were horror films. The earliest two were the
right, but
earliest
it
one
wasn't just
wasn't.
horror movies. Is my point, though.
No, no.
It's
That's the thing
like
is it still isn't. In fact, we're gonna watch a movie called someone's bar mitzvah, Danny's bar mitzvah. I actually just bought it on Blu-ray, but because I had like less than 300 pieces left, and then I had found two other shot on video films that I wanted that were also way less than 500 pieces on Vinegar Syndrome, and I spent my Twitch money on that. Um,
so be it.
but yeah, it's not until the indentation of like home video, like the idea that
Yeah.
you can take a camera as just some schlub and film whatever you want with it. That's when you get things like Heavy Metal Parking Lot and McPherson tape and yada yada yada, tons and tons of like these little small ones, and that's like that's like the beginnings of this movement, and it doesn't peak and crest and become public until Blair Witch, which was the breakout for the movement. But it's definitely a movement because it has gone into remission for years.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say it went that far into remission in the from 2014 to now. Like there were definitely periods where there weren't that many found footage horror movies being made every
There's never
year.
a time in
But
history
like,
since the invention of the camcorder that there wasn't a found footage film. There's always been
yeah,
found footage since then, basically.
I would say that from like 2018 to now, like there's been a decent amount of found footage horror movies every year. Like not insignificant, you know.
No, there's been a
Some of
lot. In
them
fact,
aren't very popular. They're
a lot of
much
them
more low
are
budget, but it's
mediocre,
like
but you got to start somewhere.
yeah, but it's like they're still there. They're still being made,
The thing
you know.
is, the thing is, found footage is a domain I greatly appreciate and love because it is currently the home of outsider art, where somebody who's never made a film before makes a movie, and
Mhm.
sometimes it has the power of like
It
moving you.
seems like the most comforting and inviting way to get into filmmaking because it's just like and it feels like anybody can grab a camera and start shooting a silly little horror movie. You know
So,
what I mean?
so like someone like Jane Schoenbrunn, who I'm sure I just butchered their name, but like uh
Like that.
they've been clearly been working on like some previous stuff to like hone their skill, but when they made We're All Going to the World's Fair at the height of the basically this Omicron end of the pandemic, like this is like that's when it released. I probably got made in 2020, but like it was made during the pandemic. The pandemic has opened a floodgate of found footage films because
Oh
people
yeah.
sit there and get bored and come up with an idea, and then they're like, "Well, if we can just fucking do this, and you can just fucking do this," and that's my favorite part about found footage is it's so ethos is you can just fucking do this. It can be bad, but it doesn't matter because you'll get better. You learn from your mistakes, what doesn't work, and you just get better. Just like any craft, any art, any skill. And the future of found footage is unlimited because we have all these people who've been honing their craft for years on some mediocre films, but they're all getting better. And they're going to release some real bangers. And those mediocre films are going to be beloved at some point. A lot of them. And outsider art is finally being able to be seen by large swaths of people. Like we're all going to the World's Fair was a big film festival like fave, and like people like talked about it, and so people have seen it, and you can just go watch it right now on HBO or Showtime. I can't remember which one.
HBO. It's probably on something else too. The way
But
things are
like
going.
it's
All the
outsider art,
monopolies.
like that. Like, and maybe that person had some formal schooling, but that person never made a movie before. You know what I mean? And you make something outside the bounds of culture and art and professional, what they're considered the professional art world, or in the professional film world in this case, it's outsider art. Which is my favorite part of regional filmmaking, is it's outsider art. You often find people who have no fucking ability to actually make said art. But there's a joy and a magic to that. I fucking love movies, y'all. Anyway, I'm sorry, we went on a huge tangent. I'm super sorry.
Well, since you were talking about World's Fair, why don't we
We're all going to the
go to the
World's
World's
Fair,
Fair?
which is about this person named Casey. Actually, the description says herself, but I'm getting some pretty non-binary coded vibes, so I don't know. I'm just gonna,
It's hard to tell.
yeah.
For sure,
I'm
there's
sure-
definitely like some like neurodivergent coded
Oh,
stuff in there.
1000%. There's neurodivergent autism at play. As someone who's both those things, I can resolve those things. ADHD and autism. I can tell you, I very fucking much related to Casey in some ways, not all the ways, because Casey lives in a home life. We gather, never explicitly stated, that is very upsetting and stressful for her, and so I can relate to this very hard to this character who lives in this emotional manipulation and whatever else, right? So this character is like trying to reach out, find connection in the world. So she's like doing like these like online like video challenges for like TikTok or YouTube, wherever you don't blink for a whole minute and the blinky monster guy will get you, or some stupid shit, right? The thing you do for attention on
One of
those
those challenges.
platforms when you're young, because it's what's popular. And then from there, various consequences seem to unfold in her life, and we're seeing some horrific things and some traumatic things. And I really don't want to spoil a thing about this. It's 86 minutes. It's very brief. It's a good movie. It's a very, very good movie. I'm so glad I bought this movie. Holy shit.
I think it has a lot to say about parasocial relationships, especially,
Yes.
and I like that. It's like if you know anybody who has struggles comprehending or understanding the difference between like a social relationship and a parasocial relationship, then this movie might help them to understand. It's hard
I think
to say for sure because some people just aren't coded that way.
I think most
But
importantly, with this very online world we having, this movie is about, we've all, if you've been online for a while, we've all known that friend who we talk to all the time, and then one day they just disappeared, and you wonder what happened. That's Casey. Just disappeared one day, and you don't know what happened. And we all know, if you've been on this internet long enough, we all know people like that. They were really important to our lives, and they just disappeared. You wish you knew what happened. You hope they're alive. You hope they're well, but you can't tell because you don't know. And like that's very powerful to me, as someone who has lived online.
Sometimes you've been told something about what happened to them, but you don't know if it's true. You just
Right?
have to take it as read.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, exactly. There's like trust in that. I highly recommend this fucking movie. Cannot recommend it high enough. It's very goddamn good. Deeply affecting for some, I'm sure, me in particular. But I'm sure others will find great connection to it again. I'm actually going to probably watch it again here soon. I'm going to find someone to foist it upon. I've got a bunch of people I watch movies with. I'm sure I can make someone watch this movie with me. Anyway, I gave this movie 10 out of 10. I'm sure you gave it much lower.
8 out of 10. But
Solid.
2 thumbs up.
Forgot we did the thumbs up. Excuse me. I gave it 2 thumbs up. 2 giant, huge, massive, as big as my thumbs can get, thumbs up.
I liked it. I think it's like one that everybody should watch, especially if they're, if you're watching this online. If you spend any amount of time online, you probably will find something to relate to in this film because it's very much about that online life on the internet.
especially if you struggle with connection or you struggle with mental health, like some of us do. And
Mhm.
you know, like I said, it's a very powerful, very uh, deeply personal film. It feels to me. I don't know if it was personal in the creation, but it was personal to me. Somehow, this person reached my brain and made a movie for me, and I don't know. And that's those are my kind of my favorite kind of movies. Movies where it feels like it's made for you. It's made for me. I don't know
Mhm.
how. I don't know why, but this person made
They
this
don't
movie for
even
me.
they don't even know that they made it for
Yeah,
you,
they
but they
probably
did.
don't. They don't even
Yeah.
know I'm alive. I follow them. I liked a lot of tweets. They don't even know I exist, which is fine. Probably gets a lot of. They probably get a lot of like hate on the internet, especially being a more notable non-binary person. You know,
Yeah.
it's far more notable than me. All right, so let's talk about something we maybe didn't like. Parasomnia,
Oh, um, Parasomnia was
(2008).
it was a movie that definitely wanted to be a Saw movie, 2008. Um, there really was not much to write home about with this movie. Um, it was okay. It kind of felt like a modern day Lifetime movie in a way.
Oh
Just
damn,
something
brutal.
about the way that it was shot just felt off.
You're
But
not
it did
wrong.
have some pretty good actors in it, so like it's not the worst thing ever. And the story isn't terrible either. It's just kind of
It's not good.
samey. Is that
It's
the
not
right
good
way to
either.
put
That's
it?
the problem. It's
It's
not good
just
either.
you've seen this story a million times before, and it doesn't do a really good job of telling that this kind of story.
So
That's the main problem with it, in my
William Malone
estimation.
directed Creature, which we saw and we both didn't really give a fuck about. I gave that one a thumbs
Uninspired.
down. He did Fear.com, which we're gonna reevaluate for the show, and
I
then
always thought Fear.com was actually okay.
well, we're
Not
gonna
good, but okay.
reevaluate it for the show, so it's okay. It's
Yeah.
on the watch list. But it's also his best movie may in fact be House on Haunted Hill remake. I don't know what that says about him as a filmmaker, but that's his best movie
Which
because
is also not great, but it says
Parasomnia 1 has major issues with consent. This is like the movie Talk to Her, where someone is violating someone's unconscious consent. They don't have consent because they're unconscious.
mhm.
And
It's really uncomfortable to
it's
watch
really uncomfortable to watch.
because of that,
And like just like the movie Talk to Her, that happens, but in this movie there's even less consent somehow. Like,
right?
uh
There will be
and
several points in this movie
we're
where you're
supposed
like,
to like
"What
him.
are several points in this movie you'll be like, "What are you doing? Stop doing that. This is not normal.
This is not
Stop that."
okay. Yeah.
It's
It
just
was
like,
yeah.
and it's not something that's like easily mistaken, like, "Oh, I didn't realize that that wouldn't be something that would be okay for a character to do." It's like even Kill Bill understands implicitly in many ways the issue with
That he
crossing lines and crossing boundaries in this kind of scenario. And in this movie, they act like there's nothing wrong with it.
they had the audacity to make the hero be the guy who's basically fucking or
That's
fondling
that's the
some.
main issue with it, is that it feels a lot like Don't Breathe in that way, where it's like, God,
Oh, Don't Breathe too. You mean?
did we need to see that?
Oh,
Both
both
of
of them.
them.
Both of
Both of
them.
them.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. I feel like the first Don't Breathe was pretty good. It just has that problem with the why
Yeah.
is the sexual assault angle necessary? And people are like, well, it's just a turkey baster, and that's sexual assault because there was definitely
Yeah.
that case where that one woman was raped by another one with a bottle, and it was considered rape. Okay, so let's
Yeah. Let's
put that
stop.
aside. Legally speaking, that is
Yeah.
rape. And
It's like,
this
first
movie,
of all, we don't have to argue this because it's
yeah,
obvious. But second of all, just
I
stop.
I have
Just
not
stop.
hated a movie so this viscerally in a long ass time. This is two thumbs down. This is like I cannot recommend this movie under any circumstances. It's not even worth making fun of because it's not even that bad. It's not even that good. It's William Malone's vanity project, and it didn't do well because it's not good.
I will give it one thumb down, and instead of two, just because Jeffrey Combs is in it, and Jeffrey Combs was actually kind of good in it.
Like I
I
can't
kind of
like
wish he hadn't been in it,
look
though.
if Jeffrey Combs was in this movie, I'd give this
It's
nothing. This would get no rating, not worth watching, repugnant. That's it. I would not. I would. This is a movie that I just don't. If this never made it onto home video, I don't think I would give a flying fuck.
I think it's on DVD or something. Who fuck?
I mean, it probably is. Let's find out. Oh, it got a Blu-ray, but it's out of print and it's from Germany,
Hey.
Austria,
Oh, well, never mind.
which
Fuck
is right
that.
next to.
I was
Germany.
gonna say, if it's like an American Blu-ray release and it's out of print and fetching collector's prices, and I found it at a fucking thrift store,
I'd buy it and sell
I'd
it.
buy it to sell it. Yeah, exactly.
It's not a movie I would keep. It's not repugnant like say Jeepers Creepers, or I wouldn't even buy it to sell if it was valuable.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
I would buy that movie and I would destroy it. I would throw it away.
That's actually a novel idea. Yeah.
If it's
just like,
$1 or something, I'm gonna
oh
buy
look,
it and destroy
another
it.
fucking. Yeah, it's like, oh look, another fucking copy of this movie that I get to destroy, so nobody has to see it.
Like when we go thrifting, if we see Jeepers Creepers, it's my moral crusade to buy them and throw them
Especially
away.
if it's like a bag day and all you have to do is throw it in the bag and it's like
Just grab
$20
every copy
bag
of
or
Jeepers
whatever.
Creepers on the shelf.
Yeah.
Powder, every Clown
Shove
House,
them
the
all
other
in
movie, like whatever other movie he's done. Like fuck that guy. I'll make
Yeah,
his movie.
powder. Fucking hell.
Yeah, I saw that in theaters.
We were
I was a little kid.
watching movies together in the past few weeks, and she was showing the screen, and it was Hulu, and Hulu was recommending Powder to her, and she just like, get that shit off my screen. And I'm like, yep, I'd do the same fucking thing.
Jesus Christ! I
It's
saw
not
it
even
one
a-
time.
I know people fucking loved that movie too, and I'm like, I never liked it. I always thought it was boring.
The reason is because people love that magical Arsler in movies.
Oh yeah.
That's
Same
that's
with,
literally their word
with-
for it. I'm just gonna
with-
put it that way.
with Forrest Gump, yeah.
It's not a word I use, obviously, since I said Arsler. Just like
The person who overcomes their
Yeah.
challenges.
Lord.
And there's nothing wrong with a character that overcomes their
This is a
challenges.
magical person, though. He has magical powers.
Yeah, it's stuff like that where it's
We're
just
giving it
like,
way too much. We're giving it way too much.
Yeah.
We don't know that
In
movie
the
doesn't
weeds.
exist. I don't know what you're
yeah,
talking
fuck it.
about. Okay. You have an option between Demon Knight, Andy Baker tape, They're Outside, Uninvited, St. Francisville, Borderlands. Any others you want? Neon Demon? Anything like that triggering? I want to rock about.
None of those are triggering it for me now. Just pick one. Pick one, and
let's
I'll
do
look
Saint-
it up and try to remember
Let's do
it.
St. Francisville Experiment, because that
Okay.
was the one that came out from in the wake of Blair Witch. And
Oh yeah.
it's like they're shooting a show. It's kind of like a real world
The
situation.
one in like New Orleans, right? Yeah. Well, I didn't really love this one. There were elements of it that I thought were good, but the main thing I liked about it was that it was talking about at least in part some historical things that were actually true, like based on real things that were happening. They were just making something up for the fucking story of the film, like Madame Lalaurie, who is the main character they talk about in this movie, is a person that actually existed in real life. And
Yep.
yeah. And you can take tours in New Orleans that focus entirely on her. So
It's
yeah.
true.
But so it made sense that somebody would be doing a documentary about her and the place that she lived, right? It made perfect sense. But aside the only thing I think really makes this movie work better than your average found footage movie is that there are the spooky, scary elements, the creepy things that happen are extremely well paced. I'll put it that way. It's not like happening every other second, so you don't really care about it anymore. You don't know when it's going to happen. You have a feeling something's going to happen, but you never know exactly when it's going to happen. So when it does, it's like a shock. And an effective way of doing filmmaking. It's I think honestly actually kind of difficult to do because it's just as easy to take too long to show the spooky, scary thing. And I feel like they did a pretty good job of
By
getting the
this
pace
point,
right.
so this is directed by Ted Niclau. He's one of my more liked directors. He did Subspecies, Terror Vision, Bad Channels, Dungeon Master, like a bunch of stuff. This is way late in his career. I mean, he's still making movies. He's making a new. He's making 2 new Subspecies films. Don't Let Her In, a Subspecies film, and Subspecies 5, Blood Rise. I'm excited for both of those. They're like this vampire series that no one really talks about. It's unfair. They're good movies. Anyway, so this is like his attempt at like doing a found footage film, and I think he did pretty good. But this is why his pacing's done so well. He's made like fucking like 20 movies before this. He knows what he's doing at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like the
Exactly.
best era of his career. Like this era, he's got like a bunch of kids movies, but he's also doing all these horror movies and Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys, and like all these other things. And I think he's also been an editor through all this. Also, speaking of Tourist Trap, he edited Tourist Trap. That's kind of cool.
I don't recall really
Anyway.
disliking any of the characters in the movie either.
I thought all these characters were complete assholes and blithering idiots and deserve to die. But that's part of the charm of this movie. Most of the characters are extremely shallow, worried about like how they look and all that shit. But they're like, there's like they have a ghost expert and a whatever expert and all this other shit, and they go into this place and everything that happens in it for the first half is very easily to explain away. Everything for the last 30 minutes, I would say, is probably like when things get crazy, everything pops off, and the film kicks in high gear, and that's when it gets good. It is a bit of a slow burn, I will say.
Hmm. But I like that. I mean,
I like slow burns.
if you like slow burns and you prefer, like I say, like I was saying, the well paced scares that because they are spread apart a little bit more, um, they feel more effective, then you would probably like
If you
this.
thought Blair Witch was slow, the Blair Witch Project was slow, you're gonna hate this movie because it's even slower. But it's well paced
Yeah,
still.
true, true.
This is an older era of found footage films where they usually did a slow burn. A lot of them did in this era. There's a few movies that are like the let's say the McPherson tapes is like the exception to the rule where it's only like 10-15 minutes of birthday party and then shit starts going crazy. Fucking love that movie, by the way. If you haven't, that's a found footage film I recommend everyone needs to see at least once. Have we watched it this year? We probably haven't. We should probably do a rewatch. All right. I give Thanks for Francisville Experiment 1 thumbs up. It's not going to be for everybody. It's going to be for the diehards who are going to find
Yeah.
lots of things to enjoy about it. If you don't like found footage film, just go on to something else. You need to. I don't know if I care about Andy Baker tape. I didn't really. And They're Outside. Both of them didn't really leave any kind of memory on me. Let's talk about Demon Knight. That sounds like fun.
Demon Knight.
That's one of those
Which
people who
one?
are in the roadhouse or the motel.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
and what's his face?
You should have said Tales from the Crypt Demon.
Billy
Knight.
Zane comes to like torture them.
Yes,
Trying to get it.
Tales,
The collector
Tales
is
from the
named.
Crypt movie Demon Knight. Yes. um, I actually really like this one. Of course, it has a
I loved
great
it.
fucking soundtrack. I mean, one of the best soundtracks of any horror movie ever.
Yeah, it's up there.
Aside, of course, from all the John Carpenter.
It's not like scores. No. It's one of the best like compilation type soundtracks.
Yeah.
Not a score, not a composed soundtrack.
If you're looking for a soundtrack full of great fucking hard rock songs, then
90s
this
metal
is
jams and shit. Yeah.
butt rock, if you will.
Pantera's Cemetery Gates, the edited version, is here. The only thing I have a problem with is that you need to listen to the the album version because it's got a longer solo, a different solo technically.
If I recall correctly,
I hated this movie growing up, by the way.
wasn't there a scene in this movie that was shot in the same building as Prince of Darkness? Or am I thinking of a
Yes, no,
different
that was
movie?
this movie.
Okay, yeah.
It was an exterior shot, I think. It wasn't
No, it
actually
was
the interior.
interior.
I think it was an interior.
The interior is what looked exactly the same to me. For some reason, I'm like,
Hmm.
I don't even know how I fucking noticed that, but I did.
Interesting.
All I'm gonna say is I liked this movie for the same reason that I like Idle Hands.
Oh, interesting.
And that's
I think
me
Idle Hands
saying
is good.
that Idle Hands, yes, is a stoner comedy, but that's not why I like Idle Hands. I like it because it's fucking goofy and it's got an interesting concept. That character, for some reason, the whole thing with the stars on the palm thing reminded me a lot of what's her name? The Vivica A. Fox, I think it was, who played the character in Idle Hands, who was like the demon hunter or something like that. And
We
it
watched
reminded
Idle
me of
Hands. Did we?
not this week, no, but
No, not this week. Duh. I meant in
I'm sure
general.
we have at some point, yeah. Okay, I'm just trying to remember
I
who it
watched it with
was.
my friend Kristen last year. Idle Hands is one of those movies I only gave one thumbs up for.
Yes, it was Vivica A. Fox. Yes, she was like the demon hunter, and
Yeah,
she came into town looking for the fucking demon.
that
It
my
reminded me
favorite
of
part
that
about
because of like the pentagram star on the fucking
my
on
favorite
the
part of
palm.
that movie is Devon Sawa is a complete douchebag. He's like such an asshole. He's like such an asshole to people he's supposed to care about. Like, what the fuck, dude? Anyway,
Yep.
about Damon Knight, I really fucking love. I hated this when I was a kid. I thought it was awful. I also hated Bordello Blood. I need to revisit that, but Dennis
Me
Miller tends to make
too.
me not want to.
Yeah.
And then there's a third movie that was made, but not it got shelved and they didn't release it. I think it's called The Roost or The Brood or something like that.
Yeah, there was this period in the
The
90s, by the
Ritual.
way,
It's called The Ritual.
where for some reason everybody thought it would be a good idea to put Dennis Miller in random movies, and it just wasn't.
It was
It
never
just
okay.
like for some reason he's in the net for a little bit, and I think he was in Murder
I
at 1600 or something.
Anyway, I'm
They
putting it on the
just
watch
literally
list
kept
anyway.
throwing him in things. It's like we didn't need that.
I put Bordello Blood on the watch list. But yeah,
Excellent.
the soundtrack's incredible. I think Billy Zane, William Sadler, like CCH Pounder, Dick Miller, Gary
Oh yeah,
Farmer, Charles Fleischer,
Dick
fucking
Miller got a
Ryan
lot of
O'Donoghue.
screen time here, didn't he?
What's that?
Dick Miller got a lot of screen time here,
Yes,
didn't
he's up there. William Sadler was the one who got the. Oh, John Larroquette played a voice. I remember. There is a lot of like character actors in this movie. Our Interstar Dickerson directed this. He did Bones and Never Die Alone, Surviving the Game, Bulletproof. Oh Jesus, He's done a lot of different movies. Anyway, I give this one a thumbs up this time. I liked it a lot more this time than I did when I was a
Yes.
youngster.
Thumbs up. Very fun. Would watch again. Glad
Yeah.
I have it.
Billy
I
Zane
don't have
chooses
anything to go.
scenery. It's incredible. Do you remember the Borderlands? Where they're in that church. It was a Vatican team to that church. The miracle they had to prove. And there's that. Oh boy.
No. Nope. Brain failed me.
Okay. All right. Studio 666.
Oh, Studio 666 is something I will remember for a long time and want to revisit frequently. Because
Yeah, I'm gonna
it's
end up owning
fucking
it. Yeah.
it's funny. It's not like great, but
It's good, but it's not
it's
great.
just fun.
I
Like
get a solid thumbs up, but like, David Grohl
There's
and the rest of the Foo Fighters go to this haunted mansion to record because the acoustics sound good. Oh yeah, and Jerry King, Larry King. No, it's Terry King from Slayer or whatever is here as the guitar tech randomly getting murdered. That's kind of cool. But I love that there's a part where he's like, "Oh yeah, it sounds good," and Terry and the guitar tech's like, "Whatever, man." Like, it's like whatever. It's like whatever this wankery's about. Like, holy shit. Uh, there was a very strong sense of sarcasm and irony here. They're clearly playing ridiculous versions of themselves, saying things and
yes.
doing things they wouldn't do in real life. You know.
There were a few moments when Dave Grohl went like extremely, almost like Val speak, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like you could fucking feel the accent, if you will. Like you, it was just permeating through the screen. It's like, okay, I know you're from LA, but
Is he from
wow.
LA or did he move to LA?
Well, he's been living there for probably like 20 years, I think. So yeah. But I think he's from California at least initially.
I have no recollection.
Whatever the case may be, though. This is a
I bet he's from the
fucking
Valley.
brilliant, hilarious movie.
I don't know if we call
It
it
has
brilliant.
a few fucking issues that make it not great, but it's still one I would watch multiple times just because it feels the same as Tucker and Dale versus Evil to me, which is another one we watched recently.
Oh yeah, we
Um
watched that. Who did we rewatch that with? Someone who
uh
I had a friend who we watched it with.
yeah, I can't remember who though. Sorry. I have a bad brain. Anyways, there were a lot of little things in this, like after the first guitar tech or whoever
Yeah.
dies,
Mm-hmm.
they bring in John Carpenter, who also did the score for the film, or at least part of
Yep.
it, I
He
guess.
did.
Um,
Shit. What was I gonna
and
look up? Fuck.
there's this moment when Dave Grohl is trying to come up with an idea for his new album, for the new
Yep.
album, and he starts singing Lionel Richie's "Hello, Is It Me You're Looking For?" And out of nowhere, Lionel Richie
Oh, we're watching
appears
My
in the
Girlfriend
film.
Sarah. I'm dumb. Hi. Excuse me. I remember now.
Well, out of nowhere, Lionel Richie appears, and he's like, "That's my fucking song."
Fucking
It
love
there's
it.
just that I feel like is the perfect scene to let you know what kind of movie you're getting into here. It's not taking itself seriously in the slightest. You should not take it seriously. You should not go into this expecting to be totally fucking scared, but you should go into it expecting to laugh your ass off. And even though it is not very scary, there is still in this movie at least one scene that is probably one of the bloodiest scenes I have seen in a long fucking time. Like, I was shocked how fucking bloody that scene was. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. There is blood everywhere.
On a scale of like 1 to Dead Alive, it's like an 8 or a 9. It's pretty high up there. That I
It's
don't
not,
think there's very
I
few
would say
movies that.
seven, honestly, compared to
Okay.
Dead Alive. But yeah.
Dead Alive might be the bloodiest movie I've ever seen. There's so much blood and gore in that movie, it actually makes me queasy. Like, it's
Mhm.
just like, it's the sound effects, it's the way everything's
And
flopping about.
it's not like you're gonna get some like society shunting going on, but it's still like a very brutal, very bloody scene. It's only one small scene in it too, so it's not like you know, but it's still worth noting, I think, to me at least, that they weren't afraid to go there in this movie, and
Yeah.
I like that.
About halfway through the movie, it starts showing its Evil Dead homages, and yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
cool. I would say this is a very fun movie. Some people are giving this really bad reviews, which I think is very unfair. So I think it's
I don't
actually
know
a pretty
why.
solid, fun film. Like, really.
I can't imagine who would dislike this.
Yeah, I don't. There's always somebody, but That's fine, you know.
Even the element of him going down to that like he went to the cellar or whatever, right? Like it's off this to the side of the fucking house. It reminded me of the kind of fucking horror movies that Hammer used to do, like those 50s and 60s Hammer horror movies.
Hmm.
Oh, the head of the house just wandered off into a fucking cellar on the property somewhere and got bit by a fucking vampire. And by the way, that's not what happens in this movie, but like
No, no, no.
it's that's what I'm saying. It's that kind of thing is happening in this movie, which in it of itself felt like a reference to that kind of horror movie, and I dug that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it felt like it wore its homages on its sleeve. It's like, look, we
Mhm.
love horror movies. Watch us make our silly, stupid horror movie, and it was silly, stupid horror fun. I
Mhm.
enjoyed it. Like,
There's just a bunch of
thumbs
like
up.
rich people coming together to make a goofy movie, and it was fun.
There's a
Fun
lot
as
of
fuck.
flaws with like the acting and some of the writing, so it doesn't get two thumbs up, but it got one solid, strong thumbs up.
Yes. This actually, I think, goes well, pairs well with Tucker and Dale versus Evil. You could
Yeah,
do
we
a
basically
double
watched it
call.
right after that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last, and certainly not least, by any stretch of the imagination, Hellraiser 2022.
Hellraiser 2022 was fucking awesome.
God damn, I was not prepared for this movie. It came
I
to me
mean,
very hard.
yeah. There the I was not expecting it to be that either because I'm used to Hellraiser sequels that are fucking. This is, of course, a remake, but I'm used to Hellraiser sequels that are fucking god awful and absolutely atrocious and don't bother watching after four, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm used
Fred,
to that shit.
you know,
And I haven't seen a really good Hellraiser movie since like Hellraiser 3, maybe if you're lucky. But I because I don't know if I'd even call that really good. Hellraiser 2, I think, was the real last really good one.
people
Um,
are crapping all over this movie, by the way.
well, yeah, but a lot of them are fucking, idiots. Put it
Ah,
that way.
I don't want to attack anybody, but like,
But
holy shit. There are a lot of
but
cis white
to
men.
me at least, yeah, that's what I'm saying. To me at least, um,
Thing.
I felt like if I were going to compare it in quality to the other movies, that I would say that in my opinion, I still think Hellraiser 2 is the best of them.
Yeah, it's also
But
the
then
closest one to the actual short story, the second movie.
right after that
Parts of it,
comes
anyway. Parts of both.
this movie, and then after that comes the original Hellraiser movie.
Which
I
still is.
literally would put Hellraiser, the first movie, at at third best of all the Hellraiser
Wow.
movies.
Excuse me.
This goes second best.
Hellbound Horror was actually fairly well adapted. The original Hellraiser, bits of it makes it into the Hellbound, and it feels like this is neither of those two movies, while
Yeah.
still making homages to those movies. I still would like a maybe a more strict adaptation of the Hellbound Heart novella, but this is a really good movie all the same.
Another cool thing they did, I have to feel like it's definitely an homage that to 13 Ghosts, specifically the modern 13 Ghosts
The remake, yeah.
remake, yeah. Because they do end up in a house that is kind of like a fucking lockbox. It's either
It's
a reference to 13 Ghosts or it's a reference to Resident Evil or it's a reference to both of them at the same time.
very possible.
But
And then
yeah,
that originally might be a reference to something else that we're not aware of, like a
could
story
be, yeah.
perhaps, or painting. Like those are things like like everything's inspired by something, but that something is can be very specific.
There were a lot of shots too in this movie that were fucking fantastic. Like the shot with
Oh
the chains coming through the chest right at this camera was fucking like It's obvious like 3D fodder, even though it's not a 3D movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was so fucking gory and yet beautiful. Like it was fucking an amazing shot. I want that as wallpaper.
All the cinematics were all really fucking cool looking, and they look like moving, walking art sculptures, and everything.
And yes, it was CGI, but it still looked good.
Some of it. Some of it was CGI, some of it was practical. You can tell.
Yeah.
But damn, Jamie Clayton, it's so good as Pinhead, as the priest,
Yeah.
high priest, whatever. Like, wow. And there was but there's also reference to the second movie with the polyhedron shape and the Leviathan and all that stuff, and it's just like, ooh, I'm excited. I want them to do a remake of Hellbound now, like Hellbound, Hellraiser 2,
Based on
2025.
the
Let's
lore
go.
set up by this movie.
Yeah,
That sounds
and
cool.
also like an homage to the other two movies in its own way, in different ways. Also,
Oh, they can't do that. That's not respectful of the source material.
eat my
It's like
nutsack.
Halloween did it. Fuck you.
Oh God, I watched Halloween Kills last night again.
You mean Halloween? Oh, the new one. Okay, cool. Yeah, I need to. Well, I don't know. I guess I don't need to rewatch Halloween Kills because I remember what happened in it.
Yeah,
On what my
Evil
brain
dies
remembers.
tonight.
Really?
Evil dies tonight. 29 times to say it, by the way. I counted.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
fucking counted that shit, dude.
That's worse. I was watching this fucking like political debate, and this old white crusty dude kept saying the word boondoggle, and I kept fucking counting it. I'm like,
Boondoggle?
boondoggle count, boondoggle.
It's supposed to be boondoggy, but okay.
I kept
Anyway,
counting it. I was like, boondoggle count 4, boondoggle count 5, boondoggle count 6. But yeah, some certain things that people say either in a movie script or in real life on a fucking debate stage, it's just like they just keep going back to that word. Why do they keep going back to that word? Or in this case, phrase, evil dies tonight.
29 times. So
Why
yeah,
not?
I don't know. Is that gonna come through on the Discord? Yeah, there you go. Donnie's bar mitzvah. Oh,
Donnie's bar mitzvah.
God damn it! I'll just send you the image.
I actually see it better when I look at the Twitch
Oh,
screen.
I'm just gonna send it to you.
Yeah. Okay. What is it?
It's a found footage film that came out the other
Oh,
year.
okay.
It's
You mentioned it, I just didn't
but
know
it's
what
not
it
a
was.
horror movie, as far as I understand. And
Oh.
I really like. It might be a horror movie. There's some blood.
So
I might
somebody
stop
made a
it.
modern found footage movie that isn't horror?
And they made it with like actual equipment from the time
I mean
appropriate.
it's not
So it's
like
made of
fucking
analog and everything.
cool. It's not novel or anything, but it's like it is not very common
Not
either
common at
in
all. No.
modern times. So
And I also
that's
got
kind of cool.
Blood Hunter and Sorority Slaughter, which are shot on video horror films. I'm really on a kick with shot on video horror. It's just an extension of my love. My found footage is just an extension of my love of shot on video horror. That's another thing we're gonna start talking a lot more of on the show. We're gonna start doing a lot more shot on video horrors the ones I can get my hands on to show you, force upon you.
The characters in Hellraiser were, I mean, they had issues, right?
Yeah,
Some
nothing
of them were
perfect.
annoying and you're like yelling at the screen, don't do that, but that's classic horror right there. Like,
Yeah.
of course, most of the time when you're watching horror movies, most of the people you see in them are going to be insufferable assholes or just terrible people or annoying, just annoying as fuck,
Obnoxious.
obnoxious, yeah. So,
Or they're just gonna get on your nerves,
but
and maybe
they
those
weren't,
people annoy other people. It just depends.
not all of them were that bad in this movie, and I did like that it felt like they were, at least one of the characters experienced like actual growth. But yeah, I felt like the story was more tight knit, more tightly put together than most of the Hellraiser sequels, and like that's what I'm comparing it to.
Mm-hmm.
People, if people are upset with it, I'm just like, go watch this movie and compare it to Hellraiser 5 and tell me it's
7,
worse.
9, 11, any of
Like,
those.
if you can tell me that, then I will call you a liar to your face because I know you don't even fucking believe that. You're a fucking liar
Yeah,
if you
right?
think those movies are better than this.
Yeah.
Come on.
This is on par with, like you said, I think this
I'm
might be
fine if you think that it's if you think it's like the fourth best Hellraiser movie, but if you're going to
yeah,
sit
or even the
there,
fifth best. It's just
yeah,
like it's in the top.
yeah,
It's in the top 5. It's in
yeah,
the
come
top
on,
5. And it is. It's so good.
yeah.
It nails it nails
For me, at
the
least,
aesthetic.
it's two thumbs up.
It nails the aesthetic. It nails the vibe. It just nails everything, and it's its own thing, and it's exactly what we want from a remake. Do I
Yeah,
wish it was just some other movie that homaged Hellraiser? Of course, I always think that, but that's just how it is. Unfortunately, they just only remake movies these days. That's why we watch a lot of independent films. That's why you should watch
yep.
found footage films. No one's remade the Blair Witch Project yet, and
And
don't
by
tell me
the
the Blair
way,
Witch was a remake. That was actually a sequel. Gotcha.
what were the two found footage movies that we watched from the same director? They were like, I think they were regional, but
That's hard. I don't know. Let me see here.
I think They're Outside was one of them. Maybe.
They're outside. Let me look at found footage ranked.
We just
Blair
watched
Witch.
it like, yeah. I think we just watched it this weekend.
Oh, right.
Also.
The Sam Catherley, right? No, it's not. They're outside. It's not. Has no.
I'm thinking of the one that was the one of them was one of the ones I'm thinking of was the lady who wouldn't go outside. She didn't want to go outside because of the creature with green eyes or whatever the
Mm,
fuck. I can't remember what that one was called though. But it like
mm.
I did feel like that was worth mentioning because those movies from that director, one of them was a little bit better than the other, but they were actually pretty good. Like they were found footage
What
that
was
most
that?
people probably haven't heard of, but they're
What was
pretty
that?
good.
The
Not very
title of
good.
that
Pretty
again?
good.
She was afraid to go outside because.
Green eyes. The the creature with green eyes.
Fuck yeah. What was that? Don't think it's on my list.
God.
Found footage. Green eyes.
It is there outside.
They're outside. Yeah, that wasn't linked to
Yeah.
anything though. The
Oh,
people
I
who made
thought that
that.
was
You're crossing that with
so
something else.
okay.
Is my point.
All right,
Um.
got it.
And I
I thought
don't
that
know
was
what
done by the
movie it
same
was.
guys of the other one we watched, but yeah, one of the other ones we watched.
It wasn't Andy Baker tape, and it wasn't St. Francisville.
But There Outside was actually pretty good.
That was alright. I didn't hate it.
It is, I think, proof that you can
Huh.
make a fairly simplistic little found footage horror movie and have it be effective. You know,
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the thing about found footage. It's just incredible.
honestly,
Can be incredible.
thinking back on it, like I don't know if I would say it's better than, but I would say it's on par with the last Paranormal Activity movie, the Next of Kin one. It's on
Oh
par with that
wow. I
in
hated that
quality, in my
movie.
opinion. You hate it.
I
I
did.
felt like that one was like a 5 or 6 out of 10.
Five
And
was
I'm
a
saying
5 out of 10, and that was a
if you
thumbs
can
down.
if you
And
can get a
they're
five or
outside is a 6 out of 10. It's a thumbs up. I just
yeah, if you can get a 5 or 6 out of 10 out of a fucking like cheap little indie horror movie, then you're doing good, you know?
yeah. I mean, it's a good start for sure. I think anybody, even if I didn't like someone's film, I think they should try again because you never know. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
like it next time. You know,
Keep going and keep throwing shit at the wall until something works.
keep trying.
It's not like
Because who cares if I like it? You might find your audience.
yeah,
You know, like
it's art, right? It's like
yeah,
art number one is subjective, but number two, like if you do something artistic and people don't like it, just keep trying and maybe something you do will fucking stick out to somebody. You never
right,
know.
exactly. You never know what'll
Most
work
a
until you
lot of
try
great
it.
artists throughout history were never appreciated until after they died. So
That's
it's
a
like
lot of outside of our artists don't get appreciated
yeah,
until after they die too.
yeah.
Same thing. Same deal. It's a shame too. I love
Yep.
I know I went on that rant over, but I really do love outsider art by people who have like no, quote unquote, no talent, no formal training or whatever they, just like some dude's like, I want to make a movie. I want to see that dude's movie.
The one thing that
That's
Jules
it.
Verne there's a bunch of things that Jules Verne predicted in
Yeah,
his novel Paris in the 20th, I think it is the 20th century, Paris in the 20th
something like that.
century. It was a book that didn't get released until like 1994 or something like that because it only got found then. It was like a lost book that he had written.
Mm.
And while there were a lot of things that he predicted in that book that definitely did not happen, um, one thing that did happen is that the one of the main characters, no, the main character, wanted to be an artist, and they quit their job to become an artist,
Mm-hmm.
and they ended up dying in poverty alone, which is basically what happens now. It happened
Yeah.
then
I
too, but
mean,
it's
didn't it
like
happen to Van
the
Gogh of all
prediction he
people?
made. The prediction he was making with that book was that this is going to just continue happening,
Yeah,
and that's true. It did just
yeah.
continue happening.
I mean,
Sadly,
Van Gogh was like that, right? He wasn't super popular. No, mate, he was popular. Who was the other one who wasn't popular?
Mozart, I think.
I don't see. I don't remember. There's a painter I was thinking of, but
Oh,
yeah.
but yeah, there's some painters too. Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add? Because I think we're done, and this is a short episode of only 1 hour and 9 minutes. I almost said 9 hours and 1 minute, but 1 hour
Nice.
and nine
Well, we
minutes.
covered all the most important
Yeah,
bases,
we skipped the ones that we didn't like. That's basically what's happening at this point. We're only gonna talk about the
Yeah,
big indelible ones. Make
it makes
shorter
sense.
episodes
And
that are, or not shorter episodes, just more enriching episodes.
yeah, and if anybody is like, "Hey, I want you to talk more about all the other movies too," then just let us know. But
Yeah.
I figured
Even so, I'll
it's
probably
probably a good
tell you
idea
to
to
go
only
fuck
do.
yourself, but whatever. Good
Yeah,
chance.
but we won't. Go ahead and fucking tell us if you want to.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. We will see you in a few weeks for another episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.